Welcome to Carrorist Conversations, a show where we explore carrorism, the mindset, and having the courage to love your life. Hi, I'm Nasreen Amri, the founder of Carrorism.
And I'm Fonde Bridges, the Carrorist spokesperson.
Well, welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Carrorist Conversations.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back, yeah. So it's been a little bit of time, and for all you new viewers out there, I'd like to share with you the definition of carrorism and the 8 principles of the Carrorist Mindset.
Love it. Let's go.
Yeah, so the definition of carrorism is the lawful use of kindness and love for oneself and others in pursuit of the optimum welfare for all living things. And so the Carrorist Mindset I created so that you can follow your heart and live a life that you love. So the first principle is conscious acts of kindness. Second one is the collaboration narrative. Third, see adversity as your ally. Fourth, follow your heart. Fifth is healthy words, using healthy words to communicate.
Big fan.
Sixth one is staying curious in the face of uncertainty. And then
Hero consciousness?
Yep, that's the 7th one. And the 8th one is pursuing the optimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So practicing these 8 principles really does assist you in following your heart, but also enjoying your life.
Yeah, and when we say that, I just want to say this. When you're following your heart, you are honoring yourself, your spirit, and your authenticity. And so as you practice following your heart, because there's so many messages, there's so much communication in the world, that the voice from within, something that I always say is the voice that led you to the egg, right? It's the reason you swam so fast. It's the reason you're here. You should be able to love that. You should be able to love the life that you are living, and following your heart will lead you to love every single time. And mind you, I understand there's adversity and uncertainty and there's some challenges, yet that's true if you don't follow your heart.
That's true, yeah. So, might as well follow your heart.
Yeah. All right, so before we get into our episode, which is about what? Today's episode is...
Today we're going to focus on the principle of conscious acts of kindness.
Number 1. We're going to start at the beginning. So before we get into conscious acts of kindness, I'm going to ask Nasreen to be kind enough to select a healthy word from our Carrorist cup.
All right, okay.
And I will look up the definition and share that with you all. For me, every word that you introduce into your life is part of the neural networking of your thought processes, of your ideas, of your beliefs. And every time you introduce a healthy word into your life, your neural networking, the neurogenesis that begins in your brain, you begin to have the support system for all the positive and healthy and beneficial ideas that will occur in your existence. So we're going to give you a healthy word every single time. I encourage you to spend some time with this word throughout the week or the month or the year, and make sure that it becomes a part of your existence. So today's healthy word is what? What do you got for us, Nasreen?
Actually, what's really cool about these is that we did some healthy words workshops with kids, and these are the ones that they came up with. So, this is delightful.
That is quite delightful. Let's see. I almost want to ask Siri, but sometimes she says odd things to me. So I'm going to be patient and just type this in and see what Google has to say. So, the definition of delightful, which is an adjective, is causing delight and charming. So you guys must know. Right now, I can't even take it. I don't have the capacity to keep moving on. I'm going to look up delight right now, just so I can understand. Here it is. Delight. As an action. It's a verb. Pleasing someone greatly.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, you're delightful.
I'm glad you looked up.
You're adding pleasure to people's lives. That a great amount of pleasure. Mm-hmm. So may you always be delightful whenever you're traveling out and about and with yourself. It's always great to be delightful.
So one of the things that we like to do is challenge ourselves throughout the show to use the healthy word.
All right.
Right.
That shall be a good challenge. I'm down. All right. We shall see how delightful we can get in this dialogue.
Especially with conscious acts of kindness.
Yep, that is what today's about. And you know what? Something different from season 1 that we've moved on to with season 2 is that we are going to discuss some of these principles and really bring our experiences to it. So, I know we've been talking about this before we even had the episode, before we aired. I know that we had a moment of there was a conscious act of kindness moment, I should say, that we were struck by that really, I want to say, inspired us to make sure to get these episodes back out. Because it was so touching, it was so genuine, it was so
delightful.
Unexpected.
It was, yeah. Yeah, actually, so we were having a meeting at one of our favorite restaurants.
Beans and Barley. Yep. It's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hey, Beans. And they have an amazing environment, and they have an amazing staff, and also they have endless amounts of tea, which I will always be there for.
And a lot of healthy food options, which is one of, like, when we choose to dine there or have our meetings there, it is one way that we perform a conscious act of kindness for ourselves, but also for the community and all the people at Beans and Barley, because they're wonderful, they're awesome, they're really delightful, they really are. And so
we're there.
Yeah, we're there,
and we are in the midst of a meeting, and this is what I want to tell you. We're there, we're having our meeting, and our server comes up to us at the end of it's really a meeting. I don't even think we ate that much. I think we had like coffee and tea. Yet, our server came up to us and said, someone's already paid for your bill. Like when we were waiting for the check. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think it was interesting because you, unlike me, you responded instantly by saying, wow, that was a conscious act of kindness.
I'm like, wow, I feel really carrorized. Like, that's amazing. Like, and I'm looking around like.
And here's the fun part of the story. And I hope whoever you are, I hope you are watching this episode, because what was beautiful is, one, the gentleman was far away from us. We do know it's a gentleman. We were given some context clues. So we do know there was a gentleman who saw us, spoke to our server, and paid for our meal. And the cool part is we could have eaten anything. We could have been who knows how much our meal or our dish or whatever the price of anything was. It was really just beautiful that someone consciously took out their time and energy to care for us, to carrorize us. Mm-hmm. And it got us thinking about the power of a conscious act of kindness. And for me personally, I spent the rest of the day exploring the infinite possibilities of kindness and what was possible, and was deeply inspired by an ounce of kindness is how it felt. It seemed like one of those small things where it meant so much, and it kept growing exponentially.
Yeah, all day. We just could be like, can you believe that happened? Like, we were carrorized, like a stranger out of nowhere, someone we've never seen before. We don't know who they are. They didn't even talk to us.
No.
Just like completely out of nowhere. And we're like, it just feels great. And we're still talking about it. So, and this is days later. And that one conscious act of kindness is just like creating an abundance of good feels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because we have a small workshop that we do. We may have talked about it before in other episodes, but we have this workshop that we do where we promote conscious acts of kindness by using healthy words to give to family members, friends, to yourself, but it's really about using the vocabulary. And so one thing we've been talking about lately is this balancing act between the kindness in language. I know, look, we have family and friends. I want to tell you all, I've heard you all throughout your lives use unhealthy words to describe yourself, the world around you, and others. I hear it with children. I hear it on the news. I hear it with politicians. I hear it in business. And what's fascinating is how powerful the kind words are in contrast to the power of the negative words, and consciously using the words grants you a knowledge that these words have power, but they have the power to uplift and transform. And I just wanted to say this is that when we educate people about carrorizing one another, one thing we talk about is using these healthy words and making sure that people put them in what we call kindness cards, and hiding those kindness cards throughout the house, maybe at the workplace, wherever you are, so that someone is carrorized by you consciously, but surprised that they receive the kindness.
Yeah, and it's really cool to do it like on a day that it's not a holiday.
Yeah, well, definitely not Thanksgiving. Everyone says that everyone is saying thank you on Thanksgiving, and hopefully everyone's saying it after Christmas or Valentine. I don't know if people say thank you a lot after what's the holiday? What's the Irish one?
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah. Most people don't say thank you after St. Patrick's Day.
It depends.
So that's a good day to deliver a conscious act of kindness right there. You got to, just send somebody a little bit of love. Actually, what I talk about all the time are the mints.
Yeah.
Right?
Compliments.
Encouragements. And what's one other? Compliments, encouragement, acknowledgements. Hey,
right on cue.
So you can deliver these mints to people, and it's magnificent how our souls, our spirits light up when we receive a conscious act of kindness. And so, I don't know, Slim, I must say. Go on.
But one thing I did want to mention when we talk about conscious acts of kindness, and really how I wanted to move from, and I'm sure you've all heard of like random acts of kindness. I really wanted to move a step beyond that, because what truly is happening, and acknowledge that what truly is happening is it is conscious.
It is conscious.
Like the gentleman who chose to carrorize us.
It was not random.
Yeah, it might feel random to us because we don't know the person, but
and it didn't happen every day.
Right.
So it's random in that regard.
Yeah, but truly acknowledging the consciousness of using love and kindness. Yeah. So I think that is something that will continue to feed us. Being conscious of using love and care and healthy words.
And it's powerful because it lifted our spirits. And we, most people that know me, I don't need a lot of spirit lift. I'm pretty excited I'm shocked they even let me get up today. So, I'm excited to be here. I'm always like, the whole universe has agreed to me, honey. So.
Well, it's actually interesting that you bring that up, because sometimes people will say like, oh, that, they'll be like, that person's already really happy. Maybe I don't need to compliment them. Oh. And he's a perfect example of why that's
what do you want to know?
Because
go on.
You are typically joyful. You have an abundance of joy, and your spirit is bright, which is wonderful since you are the spokesperson. But like you said, a conscious act of kindness surprised both of us, terrorized us, and it did lift your spirit.
It did lift my spirit. So, I'm going to tell you all, I have been generating lists of ways to consciously be kind to the people in my life. And Nasreen always says to me, she goes, you treat carrorism like a sport. And so when I got my spirit lifted, you can imagine I wanted to double down as I'll say an enthusiastically competitive individual. I wanted to go do more conscious acts of kindness all day long to everybody I could find anywhere.
How can I carrorize? Who can I carrorize more? I'm like, whoa. But I'm like, that's beautiful. You know, that's the heart of charism.
Yeah. And so that's our little take right now, I think, about conscious acts of kindness, you know. But is there any like final thought or idea or insight from, I mean, because we've been doing this for some years now.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I just want to put a point on is that remember to carrorize yourself and do a conscious act of kindness for yourself.
Love that point.
It's not just
that point.
Giving healthy words and carrorizing other people, but how do you carrorize yourself?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's choosing to eat a salad. Maybe it's returning a phone call that you've been avoiding. You know, there's so many different ways that you can carrorize and do a conscious act of kindness for yourself. So just put that in your brain.
So let me ask you this, Nasri.
Yeah?
What do you do on a regular basis that is a conscious act of kindness?
For myself?
For you, yeah. You just you taught everyone on the planet to do one for themselves.
I do. Okay, so pretty much every day I do feed myself a healthy word.
You do, don't you?
I do.
I noticed.
Yeah, I'll either have them like randomly popping up on my phone, or I'm like, I'll check into how I'm feeling, and I'm like, you know what? I could use a little more forgiveness today, or a little more patience, and then I'll play with that word throughout the day. Maybe I'll look up a quote, read the definition. Okay, so that's one way that I carrorize myself.
All right.
Another way is try to make it to the gym every day.
You do. You do try it.
I'm in the high 90s right now.
You want to know what I think is interesting? You will make it to the gym, but you will also every day, if weather permits, you go for lack of a better word, I think it's a meditation walk, a spiritual walk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we happen to be fortunate enough to be by a great lake, and the beauty and the serenity and the grandness and magnificence of Lake Michigan at different hours of the day, watching the water transform from different colors. And I mean, I only know because we talk about this, and I've been privy to a couple walks with you. I admire your dedication to physical fitness, and also to your dedication to the mental fitness that comes with the spiritual work you do and just taking a walk.
Well, thank you.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So, all right. Another thing that we love to do on this show is celebrate an individual by starting off with a quote that's highlighting or in relationship to the charism principle of the day.
So for me, I like to think of myself as a literary chef. One of my favorite things. I mean, I am definitely the Carrorist spokesperson, but that happened later in life. I have had the privilege of loving words, playing with them, and then cooking them up. There is no greater joy than seeing someone consume something I've written, and I can see the shift. You know, like when you eat a great meal and you taste it, and you're like, you can see the joy in the cheeks and the mouth and people's eyes close and all that. That happens sometimes when you get a great quote or you get the right words, and you can see somebody's heart and soul and spirit just be activated by the word combination. So for me, that word combination feels like I'm a chef and I'm designing the language so that it has the proper impact. And I believe there are healthy word literary chefs all throughout space and time. I think all of humanity at some point fed someone the exact words they needed in order to feel extraordinary and excellent, or to spark a thought, or to generate something beneficial in their heart and souls. So for me, I am going to be giving you guys a little, before we get out of here, I'm going to make sure I give you a Carrorist quote of the day, I guess, of the episode. So this one today is, what wisdom can you find greater than kindness?
Ooh.
So, you know, the Conscious Acts of Kindness is our episode, and I'm going to be looking up for every one of these episodes. I'm going to be looking at the words we're using and seeing what other literary chefs throughout time and space have said it. And then I have this little thing, Nasreen and I have a little thing that we do where I like to tell her fun facts about the literary chef and see if she has any clue who it is. Now, mind you all, I'm not sure you all know who it is, but you can pause this video and Google things. So you have an advantage that she does not have. I mean, I think I took away her phone. Matter of fact, maybe not. Maybe her phone is filming us. Yeah. All right, cool. Right. It wasn't me. It was Destiny that took her phone from. All right, so again, here's the quote.
Okay.
What wisdom can you find greater than kindness? And here are the fun facts about the literary chef. And of course, I'm going to tell you who this brilliant mind was, who this brilliant individual was. All right, this person was born in Geneva. It was June 28th of 1712, which is currently Switzerland. At that time, Geneva was its own nation state. It was affiliated with France in many ways in 1712, but now it is absolutely part of Switzerland. And this person has been noted as an author, a philosopher, and a composer. Matter of fact, Mozart appreciated his compositions as a musical talent. I will say this, a couple days after, like 9 days after he was born, his mother passed away. So that had a profound impact on his life. It left him questioning reality, society, and culture. Mm-hmm. And his philosophies influenced the French and American revolutions, inspired the Declaration of Independence, transformed education because he understood that there are developmental stages in children. And he is honored as creating the idea of human nature.
Wow.
Okay.
That's remarkable.
Do you know who it is yet?
I don't.
Okay, cool. As an author, he experienced much success. One of his books created a craze to see the alpine scenery. Ultimately, people loved his book so much that people started running out into the wilderness to see all the things that he described in his writing.
Cool.
That's I thought that was pretty cool.
So he's a literary chef, would you say?
I am arguing for his literary chef genius right now. I mean, what wisdom can you find greater than kindness? Like, that is a really fun and profound quote.
It's delightful.
Thank you. While his book, he and as an author, he had more books. And one book, Emile, was banned and burned in France and Geneva.
Must have been good.
Well, it was because of its revolutionary ideas about class, culture, and religion. He also ended up getting a warrant for his arrest for writing this book.
Okay.
So
street cred, I like it.
Is that how you feel? You feel like that was some street cred right there?
I mean, at least back then, for sure.
Look, it's earth cred, right? You wrote something so dynamic that people were like, no, arrest that man.
Yeah.
You only used the pen as your weapon, and everyone was freaking out. Anyway, to finalize this, France, Geneva, they drop the warrants. They get over it. He ends up, of course, passing away like we all shall do. And he ends up in the Pantheon in France as a French hero. So he goes from this person who was sought after and banned and books burned and some of these. I mean, he influenced the French Revolution. And ultimately, after the French Revolution, maybe 20 years later, he is brought to France and put in the Pantheon and considered one of the 80, it's only 80 people who are considered French heroes.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, do you have any clue who this extraordinary earthling was that has enhanced our lives? And I will say this, when you really think about the French and the American Revolution, you really start thinking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what does that mean? And so he plays an outstanding role in the thinking and the philosophy and the crystallization that we have some sense of human nature and freedom, and that we are just not bound to the rules, regulations of our nation states or even our religion, but that we are individuals ourselves and that we can be free and we can make good choices. And we can also make bad choices. That was one of his other arguments as well, is that we could also make bad choices, but these dynamic circumstances land at our feet, and it's our responsibility to understand that and then to utilize it to be conscious citizens of the world. And that's 1712, where it's still something that we talk about today. Do you know who it is?
I don't. No.
This man's name is Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Okay, yeah.
I just like saying Jean-Jacques. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I love it. I like saying Jean-Jacques.
Well, thank you. I mean, that was... I might even look him up, actually.
He's got a couple photos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wrong. Pictures.
I think,
they're paintings.
He definitely carrorized humanity.
He carrorized humanity.
For sure.
Sounds like people also had some arguments and disagreements. But you know what? Here's one of the things I want to say about carrorism and being a carrorist and participating in this work is that we all carrorize at some time in our life. Does that define you as a carrorist? I don't know, but I lean that way. Right? I think we all carrorize at some time in our lives. And so I appreciate his contribution to all of us as a literary chef, and I wanted to share it with you all.
Can you say the quote one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Here it is. It's, what wisdom can you find greater than kindness?
Well, thank you. And with that note, you know what? I just want to thank you all again for tuning in to our show. Subscribe and like.
Yes, subscribe and like us, baby.
And, carrorize yourself with some merch. You can go to the...
And carrorize yourself with the mindset. Play with some of these principles. Give us some feedback, right? Type it in. We would like to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about conscious acts of kindness? How do you do it? When do you do it? Who have you done it with? You've got ample opportunity. If you know yourself, or if you've met yourself or been around yourself ever, you can always be kind to yourself. Now, mind you, you're probably going to run into other people and maybe even some cats or dogs or squirrels, maybe a tree or a bush or a plant. You can carrorize all of that stuff too.
Right. Well, remember to follow your heart so you can live a life you love and keep on carrorizing.
Yes. Take good care.